Johnny Varley saw his first meteorite on the night of his 8th birthday. He was in his backyard when it came down. It landed not far away, over in the woodland behind his house. He jumped the fence and ran until he saw the hole it had made. It wasn't large enough to be called a crater, but it was about 6 feet deep. Laying in the bottom was a rock about 3 inches across and 5 long. It was shaped like a teardrop, having been melted while falling through the atmosphere. It was too hot to carry comfortably, so he took off his shirt and used it like a sling. He quickly went home. In the garage, he set the rock on his father's workbench. It had cracked some as it had cooled. He went to the other side of the garage to retrieve a large jar. When his back was turned, he heard a loud snap. Turning his head, he noticed a thin line of thick liquid flowing out of the crack. He walked back toward the workbench and noticed that the ooze changed its direction. It was flowing toward him. He stopped, watching. The ooze stopped moving. It pulsed slightly. The end of the line thickened and began to move and slide. Johnny leaned forward. The ooze came back into line with him. When he leaned back, it stopped. Repeating this, he was able to figure out the precise range at which the ooze responded to his presence. Discarding the idea of a jar, he located an old yet unbroken 10-gallon aquarium. Some plastic liner and caulk completed his collection. He tossed the liner and caulk to the floor under the workbench near the green ooze. Slowly, he went to the table. The ooze immediately started towards him when it sensed his approach. More of it flowed out of the broken rock until there was a single glob at the end of the table. Without warning, it shot across the gap between itself and Johnny. Of course, he was ready, having anticipated this. He held the aquarium with the open top facing the ooze. When it squirted towards him, it was captured in the glass box. It stayed in the bottom of the aquarium, as that was the side closest to Johnny's body. He kept the glass box close to him, silently hoping that there were no cracks in the base of the aquarium. The ooze stayed put. He carefully reached and grabbed the plastic liner. He placed the plastic flat on the concrete. He then placed the aquarium upside down on the plastic, holding it tight to the floor with one hand. The green glob inside stayed on the bottom of the aquarium, now the top, still striving to get to the boy. With his other hand he applied the caulk, sealing the plastic to the aquarium. The next day the ooze remained secure. Johnny had acquired a feeder mouse from a pet store. He had euthanized it prior to bringing it to the garage. Controlling the glob's movements by holding one hand against the glass, he broke the seal on the plastic and dropped the mouse inside. The ooze immediately ignored his hand and flowed to the mouse. It enveloped the mouse quickly. Within 2 minutes, the mouse was gone. The aquarium allowed him to examine the green glob more closely. He compared what he discovered to his university biology books and became convinced that he had captured a giant single-celled organism. It contained all the body parts of an amoeba, just larger. The nucleus, contractile vacuole, and method of locomotion were all similar to Amoeba proteus, the giant amoeba found here on Earth. And it ate carbon-based life forms. Now that was exciting.